bottom. Here we are. Episode 24, if you can believe it. We've been doing this for 24 weeks-ish.
Yeah.
24 weeks.
24 weeks.
Oh look, my head's
yeah,
kind of
your
cut
head's
off.
cut off on yours. All right, welcome to 45th Foo.
Yeah, so today we are going to talk about the get up. Some people call it Turkish get up, kettlebell get up.
Get up, stand up.
Get up, stand up. Basically, it's with a weight, starting from the ground and getting up with a weight overhead. But I've actually come to the point where now it doesn't matter whether you have a weight or not, overhead or not. Just
body weight is even a good way to start, because actually I have a little story about the get up.
Go on.
So last week, if you tuned in, we did the kettlebell swing, and I told you that I, pretty much only got to do swings and get-ups when I started kettlebell training, however many years ago now. And Oscar made me do thousands and thousands of swings, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I kind of took to that one almost right away. That one felt really natural, it's like generating power. So the get-up now was like all core strength. And believe it or not, even though I used to do gymnastics and all these things, I always have trouble kind of keeping that connectivity when it comes to just like straight up core strength. And I had the hardest time. I have some scoliosis in my back, and so there's always these imbalances that I have. And so when I tried the get up for the first time, I couldn't even do it without a weight.
Right.
I had a lot of trouble with this. And basically, we're going to show you what it looks like so you can get an idea. But it was like one of the best exercises, because I used to have neck and back pain all the time from my scoliosis and previous injuries. And then actually after I started doing get-ups and just strengthening all of that and having everything work together, my pain went away for one, and I got stronger. I was able to do it with a water bottle.
Yep.
The water bottle was my next progression. And then my, what do you call it, PR or whatever, my best one ever was with 20 kilograms.
Right,
Can't do that.
44 pounds.
Can't do that today. Unfortunately, I have not been doing my faithful get-ups, but because I did so many before, I'm able to still, I can do the 12 kilogram pretty easily, and I feel like if I kind of worked back into it, I'd be at a 16 pretty quickly. But I do sometimes pick up the 8, and that feels nice and comfortable, so that one feels really like, just like, what do you call it, greasing the groove?
Greasing the groove.
Yeah, so that one's always
nice.
Which
is a term for like patterning a movement or doing something, any kind of movement repetitively, with not fatiguing, where you're just patterning that movement and creating like pathways, so that it becomes
pathways.
Is that what?
I don't know. I was following your lead.
Yeah, so that you're creating pathways, and that in your brain, so that you're learning things as a skill, and by patterning those skills, then you will get better over time.
Yeah. So now Oscar's going to tell you all the knowledge about get-ups, because he is a stickler, let me tell you. When it comes to get-ups, he's all about the clean technique. And
you're always saying like the knowledge as if I know everything, but here's the thing. I say this a lot, but I could talk all day about the get-ups because I do love the get-ups.
Everybody get comfortable.
Yeah, class is in session. But here's the thing. It is perfect for martial artists because you can develop strength without losing any mobility. It is this perfect blend of strength with mobility, coordinated strength, to use your point, where you're able to kind of link everything together. And the core is funny, like this area, it should be reflexive, which means me just standing here, my core is firing, otherwise I would be drooping down, right? But when you have to get up from the floor and then with a weight and do it safely, your core has to fire reflexively to adapt to all of these movements. And having an addition of having a weight overhead not only tests your shoulder mobility, but also the stability. And you have to have your entire kind of body linked up in order to move correctly. So for the martial artist, you're over time with the right technique are able to put up a lot of weight overhead, which builds strength. But because you have to pick it up safely, you don't lose your mobility. So that really is very beneficial for martial artists. And the other thing too is whether or not you grapple or you get on the floor, it is beneficial to be able to be in a supine position on your back with some kind of load on you and be able to manipulate that external load and get yourself up to standing. So not just for a martial artist, but for anyone. So even if you're like a grandkid who needs to get down on the ground, a grandfather who needs to get down on the ground to play with his grandkids, or an older person who fell down and is afraid of getting down on the floor, the Get Up is, I don't know, it's such a great tool overall for all those things.
Yeah, I mean, you've actually had that feedback, like, wow, I was able to, play with the kids on the ground, and then I was able to get up. Before it would be like, oh, it's a whole situation with the knees and the back, and now you have that flexibility, mobility, and the strength to do it. So are we gonna lay down?
So I guess you can lay down,
Which
and
way?
I don't know, whatever way would work on the camera, I guess.
Can you still see me? I'm taking a nap now.
So now that we're actually going to try this, I think you can scoot back just a little bit more.
That way?
This way. Yeah, so that's a good rolling pattern. So I think the best thing to do is to show the Get Up one time, just as one continuous movement, and then to break down and explain kind of the benefits of it. So the Get Up is whatever knee is up, same hand is up, but you would have a weight overhead. And even though we like to practice this without a weight multiple times, a ton of times without weight, you always want to imagine that you have 100 pounds over your head. So just coming up from the prone position, you're going to roll onto your forearm, then you're going to straighten out that down arm, and then you're going to lift the hips up enough to bring the knee through so that the knee is in line with your hand. You do a hinge position here, you straighten out the torso, you adjust your feet however you need to get into a lunge position, and then you stand up. And then on the way back down, should look the same as when as you come up. So when she's in kneeling position, I shouldn't be able to tell, oh, is she on her way down or on her way up, right? And here's the thing, the truth is that I used to be super strict. Even the way I just saw that Get Up, I was like, okay, there's multiple things that I could correct.
Been up in a while,
but here's the thing, is just practicing getting up and down off the ground is all I care about now, as long as it's safe. So when you don't have a weight, I'm not really that much of a stickler, especially if it's your first time doing it, or if it's been a while since you've done it, or if you have some kind of limitations. You're going to get a ton of benefit by laying on the ground and getting up off the ground to standing and coming back down and doing that for repetition and learning how to make that smoother. But let's just, for this purposes, talk about doing it with a kettlebell. We're not going to do it with a kettlebell here because if I start talking and then there's a weight, it just becomes very tiresome. But what I will say is the benefit to a kettlebell is that the way that it rests on the hand is that when your arm is extended, it's lined up with your arm and your arm is able to support it. And that's why I like kettlebells rather than dumbbells, because the dumbbell has where it's a balanced weight and the two weights are here. And as it gets heavier, it gets a little bit more challenging to do it correctly. For beginners and novices, a kettlebell is more ideal for a Get Up because the weight is in a straight line down the arm. Anyway, so here's the thing. We're not going to spend too much time talking about rolling and patterning to get to this position. This is actually the second position where once the bell is already up. And I have a tutorial on YouTube which kind of goes over 5 steps of the Get Up.
Yeah, and you'll see him doing it, which is much better than my Get Up. So.
No, I think it might be. I don't know. But either way, this is the secondary part. You're in this position, okay? And the beautiful thing about the Get Up is from here, if Mimi looks to her left and her right and is not feeling stress on her neck, then this is a good test also to say, oh, I'm not holding up this weight with my neck. I'm holding it up with my body, right? And the beautiful thing about the Get Up too here is that it's not a crunch. It's showing you a rolling pattern. You have a heavy weight. She goes to her center line and then she punches straight up. And now we've moved our shoulder in a different position and also are loading the shoulder from the bottom position. So there's 2 points of contact here where the shoulder is working to increase stability and mobility. And then the next step is you're going to bring the hip up enough so that your knee replaces your hip ideally. So your hand, your knee, and your foot are in the same line. And again, all of this, she'd be able to support a ton of weight because it's directly being held by her body. This is bad, this is bad, all of this is bad. It should be a vertical force. And the thing is that what she did instinctively from a lot of training is sitting the hips back, which is a hinge position, which is similar to a swing or a deadlift. so that now when you straighten up the torso, the spine is not bearing the brunt of the load, right? And now you're in a lunge position, again, imagining that you have a heavy weight overhead, and so now you're using your leg strength as well to get up, and then we reverse that motion. So that is a super fast way to kind of go through the get up, but just think that all of the things that are happening are you're teaching your body how to roll with the weight, so you're turning on your reflexive core, right? You're then stabilizing your body and linking it as one unit, right? And so one of the tests that we do to make sure that people are not kind of shrugging their shoulders is I tell Mimi to loosen up her arm and let me pull her arm up and then pull the shoulder back down now and in. And if I were to grab her and pull her up, she should come up as one unit, right? And that linkage is something that's very beneficial. And that doesn't happen if her shoulder is up by her ear. She's not able to do that. And for martial artists, this then translates to like proper punching technique and a lot of other techniques that for any athlete. But a real big benefit again is you're linking your entire body, so it's moving as one unit. You're using your reflexive core, so you're not thinking I need a brace here, but you moving correctly and breathing correctly will brace that for you. Your shoulder is going through multiple planes of motion, like a ton of different areas of motion while trying to maintain stability. So you're working on the stability and mobility of that shoulder.
Which helps with your range, right?
Yep.
Because you've also talked about, I wasn't warmed up and I did like a move and I realized, my
Yep.
range wasn't that,
Yeah, exactly. You need a certain amount of hip mobility and strength to kind of sweep the leg underneath. You need ankle mobility to get into a kneeling position. You need leg strength to get you up. So, I mean, just think of all of those things that you're checking off. And then in addition, it's asymmetrical. So you're going to work one side, then you work the other side, and it can be an assessment tool for you to see, my left side is stronger than my right side. My left shoulder feels okay when my arm is loaded with the kettlebell, but my left arm doesn't feel good when I'm loading my body with it. So it's a great tool, and that's just one part. I mean, you can test your hip, but you can test a ton of different parts from it. So I don't know. What else can I say about it? I'm very passionate about the get up.
We love the get up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually I really love to get up too. And it looks like I have a question on my screen, so I'm just going to log in real quick. But,
while you're doing that, I'm vamping. Bam.
Yeah, well, what was really something you kind of went over too was that the connectivity. So like, for example, certain movements in Kung Fu that you feel like would translate really well?
Yeah, so we are right now practicing for lion dancing. And so we are holding this kind of awkward lion over our head and moving our body with it. So again, what am I doing? I'm moving my legs. My center has to stay stable to then allow my upper back and my hips to move while maintaining something overhead, so a stable shoulder. And that may not even make sense to you if you don't even know what the hell I'm doing with the line.
Yeah, it just looked like
right.
he's running
But
like this.
it's the same thing with weapons.
Next week, guys. Next week, Chinese New Year. But with weapons,
Yeah,
same
weapons
thing.
may work. Also, if you can move with a weight up and down, then when it comes to moving your own body, it will become easier. Because remember, the kettlebell, just like a weapon in martial arts, is just an extension of your body. It's a tool to give feedback to your body to help you move your body better. It's not the magic end-all thing, the powerful kettlebell that helps you, but it's just a great feedback tool that lets you know if you're doing things correctly.
Yeah,
So.
and I actually really like it because it's one exercise that hits a lot of different things. So if you don't have a lot of time and you just do 5 get-ups on each side, it can be a warm-up if you don't have a weight, and it just kind of gets everything moving. And then it also, if you are loaded, it's a workout. And it's very efficient, which, the kettlebells is always, kind of lauded as being quite efficient. So I really like it, and you can do it anywhere.
Yeah, so if you were going to do it...
I don't know about anywhere. It might be embarrassing to do it at the grocery store or something, but,
You could do it almost anywhere. All you need is a area about the size of your body if you lay down like this, like a starfish, right? But if you were going to do this at home and you're just doing it body weight, then just don't worry about doing it right or wrong. Just get up and down off the ground. That alone will help you.
Without pain.
As long as you're not hurting yourself, obviously. Just for doing that for repetition. And sometimes in my group classes as a warm-up, I do what's called, stolen from Dan John, which is just super brilliant, is the get up warm up, which is just laying on the ground in different positions and getting up. Laying on your back, laying on your side, laying on each side, laying on your belly, then trying to do it without using one arm, trying to do it while touching, touching like your knee. The act of getting up and down off the ground is going to be extremely beneficial for you if you haven't done that in a while. And that alone will point out some things that you might need to work on. But if you want to do it if you want to do it then loading it with a kettlebell or with an external weight, then I would say if you're not sure, find someone who can supervise that for you.
Keep it safe.
And keep it safe. I'm going to look on my side to see if I have any questions.
Great. Yeah, I didn't have a question, just comments and stuff. So I love that you guys are listening. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We're always happy to have you guys checking us out and letting us know what you like. If you have questions, please always let us know though, because
Hi, Megan.
it does help us.
It's Megan Harrison.
Hello.
She's watching. So, you know what? I'll even mention thinking of different things is as long as you're not hurting yourself, and as long as you're not moving with pain.
Or hurting others.
Hurting others, it depends on what your intentions are. Okay, I'm not going to get involved in that. The get up is a great exercise to do with a little bit of space, because you don't need a tool. You don't need a tool to do it, but also it can almost be rehabilitative, right? Because of all the things that you'll be learning from it. So, what else can I say?
We didn't talk about the breathing that goes along with it or anything, because we didn't want to get too in depth. But obviously, there's breathing, and you need to breathe and everything, and that actually will start to come naturally as well. So, but he does have a more extensive kettlebell video, and if you're interested, let us know, and he can kind of break it down even more.
Because I think what I did was I did 5 days for the swing, and there were just 5 1-minute videos, and then I did 5 days for the get up, and it was 5 1-minute videos. So in total, for each movement, you're just getting 5 minutes, and as you can see, we can get pretty in depth with it. And also, whatever I'm saying isn't an end-all be-all. Every single person is different, right? And we may need to take other things into account. So
yeah. So see your fitness professional.
See your fitness professional before attempting something that you're not sure of.
All right.
Yeah,
well, thank you guys for tuning in. Next week is Chinese New Year.
Yeah, we're going to try to come live with some fireworks or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what time.
So we will try to log in. By the way, if you've noticed, this is our new time of 8 o'clock that we're trying to get this started, because I think it just, our classes end a little bit late here. We've had some trouble logging in on time. So our new time's 8 o'clock. Let us know what you think.
Except maybe next week.
And if you like it. So no, next week will be 8 o'clock. We're going to log in at 8 o'clock, and you can see whatever action is going on for Chinese New Year and how us 40 fit fooers are participating in Chinese New Year, even at our young age.
I like it.
Yeah?
Like
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in every Tuesday, Eastern Time, 8 o'clock on Sifu Mimi Chan, or Control Your Health. And please give us feedback and let us know if you have questions, and turn on notifications for this live Facebook broadcast. See ya.